It's hard to trust the Bible. After all, it's thousands of years old and has been rewritten so many times. It must have changed over the years.
You might think that. After all, the words in the Bible are several thousand years old. But it hasn't changed that much. It used to be that the oldest versions of the Bible we had to compare with today's were ones produced in the 10th century AD, a good few thousand years after the first texts were written. But then, in 1947, some people in the Middle East discovered significant bits of the Hebrew Bible, what Christians would refer to as the Old Testament. These texts are referred to as the Dead Sea Scrolls. They were much older texts, dating from before the birth of Jesus. And interestingly, they show that there was very little change between what was written in 200 BC and the older texts written in 900 AD. Any differences in the text made no real difference to the meaning.
But it's hard to believe that any of it could actually be true. There are some unbelievable stories in there, like Moses parting the sea, the Immaculate Conception, and a man coming back to life. These things don't actually happen in real life. The Bible is just full of fairy stories.
Admittedly, there's a lot of stuff in the Bible that sounds unlikely and downright impossible by human standards. But then, you could argue that since it's a book about a supernatural, all-powerful God, that's irrelevant. But let's ignore that, and accept that there is some far-fetched sounding stuff there. The bigger issue is what's in the rest of the Bible. A lot of people credit the Bible with containing a lot of stuff which is worth living life by. For example, the laws found in the Ten Commandments. These have become the basis of a lot of countries' laws. And this came from the same source as the story about the miracle that happened at the Red Sea, where Moses managed to part the waters and lead the people through. Were they mad? Were they lying? If they were, where does that leave us with the Ten Commandments? Surely they'd be nonsense too. You can't take some bits and leave the rest. You must make a choice.
But what about the evidence of science? Surely that disproves most of what's in there.
This is a difficult claim to make. For a start, it suggests that you can't believe both. But there are loads of great scientists, past and present, who have a strong Christian faith and value the Bible. Secondly, saying that science has the last word suggests that science never gets it wrong. Science is wonderful, but it also changes as people make new inquiries, find new evidence, and create new theories. It's on a journey as much as faith is. But lastly, science doesn't answer all our questions. It's very good at answering questions like what and how, but it doesn't deal with questions of why, which are the questions that religion is more interested in. Any more questions?